Hey guys, today I'm going to show you a great delicious recipe for a jambalaya. I'm going to throw a little twist on it with our rice blend, but I've got some classic ingredients there as well. One of them happens to be this andouille sausage. And we've got a chorizo here, some other different sausages in this line, which I think are excellent. But the one we're going to use today, classic smoked andouille sausage. Let me show you the other ingredients we're going to get. All right, the next thing you need to do is grab our Creole spice here. This is the Conrico right here, the Creole seasoning. It's the perfect blend of spices for our jambalaya. You're gonna love it, I guarantee. Okay guys, here's a little twist on this. Normally for a jambalaya, I'm gonna use a long grain white rice, but today we're gonna go for the whole grain 5 rice blend. It's a blend of different rice, red rice and some brown rice in there. It's got a fair amount of whole grains in there, so it's really gonna be that much better for us. Let's go cook this thing. It's time for jambalaya. I've got 1.5 pounds of chicken thighs browning in 2 tablespoons of oil, along with the 2 teaspoons of the Creole seasoning for about 2 minutes just to brown them. And then I add 1.5 cups of chopped onion. And that's gonna go for a couple minutes here, just so that onion starts to soften. And then the next thing, if you come over here, I've got 4 cloves of garlic, about a cup of celery. You can leave that nice and, about 1-inch pieces or so. A couple bay leaves, some thyme. I've got our whole grain blend mix here, and I've got our andouille, which we're simply going to cut this in about 1-inch pieces on the bias. Just going to make it look a little bit nicer rather than cut it straight down. Come back to our onions. We're going to let this go for about 2 minutes or so, again, just so that softens up a little bit. Now that my onions are cooked for a couple minutes or so, I'm going to add my chopped garlic to that. And we're also going to add our celery, our bay leaves, our thyme, and our andouille. This is what I'm going to call it. It's our aromatics. It's the stuff that's going to add flavor to that oil that's in the bottom of this pan that eventually is going to flavor the rice. So we want to cook this a little bit, about a minute or so, just to release some of those oils and the garlic and the spices. So when we add the rice, those are fully inside that liquid and they'll soak them up really nice. The next step of this is where we're going to add the rice. So I'm going to take my 2 packages of the rice blend and add that to it, and we're going to let this cook for another minute or so. And what happens here is the rice actually starts to toast slightly, and what it really does for us is it's going to keep our rice nice and separate when we go to scoop it out in the end. Okay, here we are a minute later, and what we're going to add is 1.5 cups of our kitchen cut tomatoes. So they're a little chunky. After that goes in, we're going to put in 3.5 cups of chicken culinary stock and half each of a red pepper and a green pepper to that. We're going to bring this to a high, and then we're going to wait for that to come to a simmer, incorporate all of it, stir it up here, put a lid on it, and we're going to go 400 degrees for just over an hour. Okay, it's been about 1 hour and 10 minutes. We pull it out of the oven, and then the next step is you got to wait for 10 minutes. And what happens here is the rice is going to continue to soak up the little bit of liquid that's left inside of there. So, important step. And the next part is one of the best parts of this, is when you pull that top off and you smell that first whiff of that. Oh, it's great. Take a tablespoon of dried basil, and we're going to sprinkle that on. And we're just going to continue to stir this just a little bit. Get that incorporated in there. And that basil is going to start to perfume up a little bit. It smells great. Okay, while you're in there, go ahead and find your bay leaves and remove those because nobody wants to eat those. And then all we got to do is garnish this last little bit. So I'm going to take some scallions here. What you want to do with the scallion is you want to take the top off, the little hairy guys there, and then use the entire scallion. So you want to use the white and the green. We're going to mimic the shape of our andouille here. So I'm cutting on the bias, which means I'm going to get these nice sharp edges on these scallions. So when we do our dish and finally go to garnish this, it's going to look delicious. All right, so jambalaya, almost done. I cannot wait to dig into some of that.